Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome to the bonus show. I'm pretty sure I have talked. Actually, you know what? Let me get to this email first. I received an email from Sean. This is a follow-up to the TSA paying you for your ideas on how to get through the lines quicker. Sean wrote, "Hi, Lewis. Like David, I have Nexus, which is the Canadian equivalent to your program, where you can beat the line at the airport. And he had a friend who suggested, basically a way to skip a line and to expedite things at airports. You would basically, I know this is satirical, but it is very funny. You would go to the airport change rooms, put on an airport-sanctioned jumpsuit, sort of like the ones from Star Trek, and all your carry-on stuff and all your clothing would be checked in. They would inject you with general anesthesia and put you in a horizontal pod for the entire trip. Upon arrival, they would ferry you, your checked bags and luggage and clothing, to your destination hotel room, where you would wake up, and that you could cram a lot of people onto a plane this way. There'd be no hijackings. There'd be nothing. Furthermore, if the plane does crash, wouldn't you rather be asleep?
The only problem with this is that you could check luggage that had like a timed bomb or something, So
well, the idea is that it still gets scanned, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because you can put the biggest knife in the world as long as it's on a checked bag. Anyway, I know that's satirical. The sad part is that I can see something along these lines happening in the future. Maybe not quite like this, but I can see this happening. And I'm not laughing. That's not a joke. I've talked before about octopuses. They are smart.
I believe the term is octopi.
Octopi, is it? Okay, octopi. They are very smart. They have what I consider to be the best camouflage in the animal kingdom. It's incredible. If you look up videos of some of these octopi and the way they can camouflage themselves, you'd think it was fake. You'd think it was CG. You'd think it was something out of a movie. It is mind-blowing. And now we have a story here about an octopus that sat and protected her eggs for 4 years and 5 months. The octopus was observed, of course, this is how we know this. It did not move the entire time. And scientists believe that it did not eat anything for the entire 4 year and 5 month period. The octopus died right after it was done with this task. They even tried to feed it by giving it something on a robotic arm, and it rejected it. It was always surrounded by food, by crabs and shrimp, you name it. It didn't eat. 4 years and 5 months, David. Is that not mind-blowing?
My question is, what's the incubation period for the eggs?
I don't know. I don't know, but this doubles the longest brooding time ever seen in the animal kingdom. And it just, when you think about stories like this, like of guarding your eggs, and you think of like the emperor penguins, and that's pretty incredible, and that's brutal. But this is just, this is on another level. Does the thing go into some type of hibernation? It seemed to be moving and active and aware.
Now, Lewis, I think that it may be that it's kind of like, is it the normal process where the octopus dies after the eggs are born? After the eggs hatch? Like, I think that just may be standard for many species.
I don't know. This is a deep sea octopus. It's I'm not sure what the most, what, if that's a common thing with octopi in general. But
what I found is this: both the male and females die soon after mating. The male dies a few months afterwards, while the female dies shortly after the eggs hatch.
Well, it took 4 years and 5 months for the eggs to hatch. And it could be different with different species, without a doubt. So anyway, yeah. maybe they'll uncover something that maybe we'll find out that the octopus did eat somehow, did get some type of nourishment, but they currently believe that it did not, which is just absolutely incredible. Anyway, yeah, there's that. There's a study here that is linking memory problems to those who drink during a certain point in your life. Middle-aged people. They believe that middle-aged people who drink regularly or excessively can have serious memory problems when they are older. I mean, I kind of would have guessed that this would happen.
Yeah.
But it certainly doesn't happen to everyone. But, the crazy thing is that my parents drink a lot, and I've been noticing that my mom's memory has been getting worse over the years.
Interesting, but admittedly anecdotal.
Anecdotal, right. I can't say with certitude that drinking is the cause of that, but it is pretty interesting.
I mean, my girlfriend doesn't drink that much, and her memory is terrible already. So I think it can vary.
That's true. Some people just have a lousy memory, but as I recall, my mother's memory used to be a lot better. So, of course, while you are drinking, things that happen you are less likely to remember. But so I don't know, just kind of an interesting study. Obviously, excessive drinking is bad for you, plain and simple, in just about every way. And I'm finding that the older I get, the less I drink, the less I want to drink, and the more it disrupts my sleep when I drink. If I have more than one drink, basically 6 hours after I start drinking, I will be awake. I will be unable to sleep until whatever is happening in my body passes. And it's a huge problem. Well, I shouldn't say it's a huge problem, but it's very annoying when, I'm out and want to have a few drinks, but know that, especially during the week, knowing that it will disrupt my sleep.
But so, when you say a few drinks, you're saying if you have 2 beers, then you can't sleep well?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow.
If I have 3 drinks, it's going to be really bad. 4, forget it. I'll be up at, 4 or 5 in the morning. And,
I want to propose something, Lewis, okay?
Okay.
I predict you're going to have a very strong, not negative reaction to this in the sense of being angry, but just a skeptical reaction in the sense that you won't believe this, okay?
Okay.
And that's okay, because
Yeah.
I don't think it makes a difference in the sense that, okay, I think that in many of these types of situations, okay, I had a period where it just so happened that one night when I don't remember what type of drink it was, not a drink I have anymore, not 7 and 7s, I don't remember what it was. But anyway, I had a certain type of drink that I don't normally have. And I went to bed and I woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning feeling really, really nauseous. And I was like incredibly nauseous with cold sweats for an hour, okay? And then eventually it passed and I was able to get back to sleep. Even though I didn't fully believe that drink definitely, uniquely was responsible for causing that, somewhere in my mind I did believe that, right? And I avoided that drink for a couple of weeks. And the next time I had that drink, I wish I remembered what it was. This was years ago. The exact same thing happened. I had a totally different, it wasn't food poisoning. I had eaten something totally different. There was no real other explanation other than that drink. And I said to myself, wow, there's something about this type of drink that makes this happen. And I avoided that drink. In fact, I avoided all mixed drinks for years, like just would only have beers, right? And eventually I started to think that I may have caused that. In other words, it was in some way psychosomatic, where I was truly having cold sweats. I was truly nauseous, and there was just no specific cause of that. And I actually read a really interesting book by Dr. John Sarno, where he explains that there's 10 or 12 different conditions that sometimes can be stress related, but people will start going through all sorts of processes to have themselves diagnosed. Back pain is a really common one. More than half of back pain has no specific cause. And once I read this book, I was still skeptical, but I told myself, you know what? I don't think there's any reason at all that having liquor as opposed to beer is going to make me feel sick in the middle of the night. And I just started to believe that. And ever since then, I've never had this happen again. I can, whatever drink it is that I have. And for a while there, Lewis, I was truly convinced that it was these drinks that was causing it. So I'm suggesting to you, it's possible that for some specific reason, this happened with you and drinking alcohol for a couple of times. And now your body has actually internalized it as what happens, and it may not need to.
No, I don't think that's what's happening, because here's the difference.
Yeah.
Since I don't drink much anymore, I don't really have much of a tolerance for alcohol. But when I drink for multiple days in a row, I will have those sleeping problems the first couple days. By the third or fourth day, I won't anymore.
I don't think that necessarily disproves it. And the reason why is that because it's not a real issue anyway, once your tiredness simply outweighs this issue, you just sleep better. I mean, I don't know that that's proof one way or the other. Anyway, I just suggest this. I know that there's people who had like persistent headaches, and I told them about this and recommended this book, and they haven't had headaches since.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. I think it is the alcohol. I've talked to a lot of people who have the same problem as me.
I don't deny that.
Yeah. For some people, it helps them sleep.
Yeah.
Even though your sleep isn't as good, it's not as deep. We know that from scientific research.
Even with those people, though, I think that it could be because they've internalized that the alcohol helps them sleep, that it helps them sleep. I'm not denying that alcohol does have an effect on sleep, like a scientific effect, but I just think that the mind is definitely a factor in how people react to all sorts of stuff.
Could be. It could very well be. I think we'll actually just have to move this Netflix story, right? Should we push it back, or should I cover it real quick?
Yeah, all right. Well, just tell us what's going on. Yeah.
It's really, Netflix basically is already paying. We talked about the net neutrality ruling. Netflix is already paying cable providers to have smoother, faster running service.
Yeah.
And now they're doing it with AT&T. And it's, before we were thinking, well, we were thinking about this aspect of it, because it's amazing that this is something that they can do now. They can say to these companies, oh, you want faster service? Pay us a ton of money. And it's all about profit. Now they're just able to make so much more money because they are allowed to shorten or narrow and widen those internet tubes.
Yeah, it's totally sickening. And we're actually going to have an expert on this. I think it's next week, Lewis. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we're going to talk very specifically about net neutrality, slow lanes, fast lanes, and this type of thing. We're going in a really bad direction with this.
Yeah, it's a total disaster. We will come to a point where this type of thing will be illegal, and there will be net neutrality, David. We will
I hope so.
We will. It's the future. It will happen. But right now, we're screwed.
I can see a dystopian future where we do not have net neutrality.
I don't like it. I can see that too, but I just think it's unlikely, barring some huge war or disaster. Anyway, thank you for joining me.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.